Some time ago, I did a review of Krampus the Yule Lord by Gerald Brom. That was his second novel. Here I'm going to talk about the first one he did. The Child Thief, which is again, similar format as the Yule Lord. It is where the Yule Lord talks about, where Krampus the Yule Lord was, just his own modern take of the Krampus myth in modern times. This one, he's structures off of Peter Pan. And as far as the basis of the story, of course, you can see why by the main character in the cover here. That's Peter, and he is in a battle in his own home of Avalon against these flesh eaters. Where Peter Pan, he takes the Lost Boys and fights these pirates. In this one, it is not quite as whimsical. Story begins by a kid named Nick, around 14 years old, running away from his home because his mother rented out a room because they needed money, but he rented out to a drug dealer who takes advantage of her, treats him like crap. So he decides he doesn't want anything to do with this. So he grabs a backpack filled with methamphetamines and he's going to go out, sell them, make money, and just live off, and finally he can live on his own. Doesn't have to worry about this. Unfortunately, he gets caught by a couple of people who know this drug dealer. But Peter comes to rescue, and Peter befriends him quickly and takes him off to a land where he will make him one of the devils. Training and fighting to where they will fight these flesh eaters on the coast that's been wreaking havoc upon the land for quite a while, in defense of the lady of the island, the queen there, who Peter sees, loves dearly and sees her as a mother. And unfortunately, Peter's also got a problem with outside flesh eaters. See, the queen's son, Ulfgar, doesn't like him at all. So he's now got that aspect of him. Nick, who recently adopted in, whose point of view you see most of the time, he sees himself in a bad rut, but then he gets to meet the other devils. Many of them are people from his world. And he finds out that a lot of them were vagrants in worse condition than he is. Some were more abused than he was in many ways. Some of them, at least one, wasn't exactly abused at all. He's just some kid that thought he had it bad, and there's another one who's a flat-out bully, and gets in conflict with Nick as well. So as I said, it's modeled off Peter Pan, and he got the inspiration from a quote from the book. Here's a section he talks about. Let's see. Let me go back a bit. Author's notes of an ode to Peter Pan. I won't go through the whole thing. Like so many before me, I am fascinated by the tale of Peter Pan, a romantic idea of an endless childhood among the magical playground in Neverland. But like so many, my mind's image of Peter Pan has always been that of an endearing, puckish prankster and undue influence of many Disney films and peanut butter commercials. That is, until I read the original Peter Pan, not the watered-down version you'll find in a children's bookshop these days, but James Barrie's original and politically uncorrected version. And then I began to see the dark undertones and to appreciate just what a wonderfully bloodthirsty, dangerous, and at times cruel character Peter Pan truly is. Foremost, the idea of an immortal boy hanging about nursery windows and seducing children away from their families for the sake of his ego and to find his enemies is at the very least disturbing. Though this is fairly understandable when you read it, when you read in The Little White Bird, Peter Pan's first appearance. And that as an infant he left his own nursery to play with the fairies in the park, but upon his return found the windows barred and his mother's nursing another little boy. Just a sort of traumatic event that to leave anyone a bit maladjusted. Rejected, Peter returned to the fairy world and apparently decided things would be a bit more fun if he had a few companions, and not being one to worry on niceties, he simply kidnapped them. But what happened to these children after that? Here is a quote from the original Peter Pan. The boys on the island vary, of course, in numbers according as they get killed and so on. And when they seem to be growing up, which is against the rules, Peter thins them out. But at this time, there were 6 of them, counting the twins as 2. Thins them out? Huh? What does that mean? Does Peter kill them? Or like calling a herd? Or does he send them away somewhere? If so, where? Or does Peter, just put them in such peril that, that the crop is in need of constant replenishing? So, that one paragraph forever changed my perception of Peter Pan from that of a high-spirited rascal to something far more sinister. Thins them out. The word kept repeating in my head. How many children Peter stolen? How many had died? How many have been thinned out? Peter himself said, to die will be an awfully big adventure. So, yeah, that's that first part there. Gives you an idea of where Brom came up with the idea for this story. And it's, you know, beautifully done in the same way that his next book, Krampus Yule Lord, is. In the center of it, you have these wonderful colored templates of many of the characters. You know, from Ulfgar to the Queen's son to the captain. You know, obviously in place of Captain Hook. But he's not a pirate. He's just a captain of the ship that brought over this group of settlers. That's one of the mysteries about. You know, these settlers thought they were going to the New World. Well, they did go to a new world, and they got twisted and corrupted by it. And the Reverend that leads them, thinking that they're in an island of devils, and so they have to keep fighting back. You know, but Peter just sees them as these monstrous type people who are just, you know, he has to be at war in order to protect his mother. And at the same time, he's got, trying to keep Ulfgar, who's going to be after Peter as well, and found some equipment and stuff from the current champion of the island. Now, Peter himself, I do like that as I read it, he's a guy who's trying to do the best he can. He's still a young kid, still has a sort of prankish fun, and encourages them, his devils, to go out and have fun while attacking the enemy. But Nick points out where he's where he's not thinking right about this. So the character interaction is wonderful, and Brom does a very good job here in Krampus, and I hope he keeps up some more work like this. It does. I think stuff like this could make a decent movie in the right direction. You know, it doesn't need to be a trilogy or anything. Just a nice one-off movie of this, and maybe Krampus' new Yule Lord as well. Before he did these novels, he did these 2 illustrated books, The Desert Rose, which I haven't read yet, and Plucker, which, think of a very dark Toy Story. As in, yeah, take the movie Toy Story, where you, when you're out of your room, the toys do come to life, but it's not as sweet and as funny as the original the Pixar movie does it. It's done in a dark way that Brom does quite well. So yeah, the story of Peter Pan, but also the characters themselves are taken from different parts of European mythology. The Horned One. Let's see. And by the way, at the end of this, he also explains where he's got the ideas, the concept, like where Avalon comes from. Avalok, where there's a character named that, and where that character comes from in mythology. The Horned One, Mabon, Madron, other influences, Barghest, Ginny Greenteeth, and so forth. So, yes, give this one a shot. The Child Thief by Brom. It's been out for quite a while. I think it was at least 2009. I'm sorry, and still out today. Easy to find. And check out Krampus the Yule Lord as well. They're great companion pieces. So there you go. Thank you all for watching. Have a nice day.